Hello Space Cats, it's me Jules, operating from Mission Control on the Isle of Wight. If you saw last week's video, you might like to know how the heckety heck to draw clouds. Yes, I am back in the Hobbit Hole studio, listening to the sparrows and the blackbirds annoying each other out there, and getting on with some of my illustration bookwork. I'm really delighted to say that over the weekend I got the first draft of my next story written. So who knows, I might need some clouds for that, so good time to get some practice in, I think. If you've just come across this channel then, yippee! You have found the right place for drawing, planning and publishing children's books. Before we start, press the subscribe button, ding the bell for all uploads, and I'll notify you when they come out. If you've written a story and want to know what to do next, there is a link in the description box below to the course that I've run on the formula that I know works. So do go and have a look at it, preview's free, and there is also a 14-day money-back guarantee if you don't think it's for you. Right, less gassing, more drawing. This is the part of my bullet journal which has got the clouds in it that I wanted to show you, and I think what we're going to do is just start off drawing something a little bit like that. This is marker paper, so I've talked lots about marker paper before in my videos, but if you haven't got marker paper, don't worry, just use whatever you can get your hands on at the moment. I've got here actually it's quite a soft pencil, it's an 8B Derwent Graphic pencil. I've got my Staedtler pigment liner, which is a 0.7 nib, but if you haven't got a fine liner like this, just use a biro or any other black pen, so long as it's one that won't bleed when you, so that's spread when you put something else on top of it. So biro won't do that. And this is a Crayola Super Tips in the sort of, I would call that gunmetal grey. So it's a sort of bluey grey, which I think is going to be the perfect colour for doing this. So what I might do is I might just draw one in pencil, because you might want to draw one in pencil first if you're not very confident about going straight in with a pen. So what you do is you just draw lots of C shapes, but they might C as in the letter, but you make them go in different directions, like this, and then big ones and little ones. And then, I don't know if you've noticed, but clouds are quite often flat across the bottom, like that, because this part of the cloud is all very, very light. The particles of water are not very densely populated, and the bits at the bottom of the cloud are more densely populated, and that's where the rain is going to come from. So let's now draw one. I'm not going to do go over it with my pen, I'm going to draw a new one just so that we've got a little bit of reference there, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we put a bit of colour on it and where the shading ought to go as well. So again, I'm just starting with a little C shape, and then I'll do a bigger one, but this one's upside down this time, like a rainbow, and then maybe a really big one like that, then a little one, and another little one, maybe another little one, and then an elongated shaped one, and then let's go over to this side like this, and then flattish bottom like that. Just give that a couple of minutes to make sure it's properly dried, and then think about when we're going to put some colour on it, where is the light source coming from? Where is the sun? So the sun is going to be above the clouds. So the light source is coming from above. So all of this top bit is going to be lit, and all of the bottom bit is going to be dark. And this is especially noticeable on days when you've got low sun and lots of clouds building up, like thunderclouds. You get this very dark bit underneath. So I'm just going to shade a little bit. I'm using the tip and not the flat bit of the super tip. There we go. Oh, that wasn't quite dry. Look, I've smudged it a little bit. There we go. Move it back in. And that shows us then that this part down here is in shade, and therefore the sun must be coming from above, but it needs a little bit of something inside it as well, because of course it's not flat. This, looking at it from this plane, it's not a flat cloud, it's going to be lumpy and bumpy. So let's put some little shaded bits where the lumps and bumps might be, like that. This time we are going to do the same sort of thing again, but on this occasion we're going to use a much thinner black pen. This is a graphic line maker 0.2. Again, that's a Derwent. And I'm going to show you how to go about shading if you don't have any colour. So there's our cloud shape. Doesn't have to be completely flat like this one at the bottom, just flattish compared to up here. And then maybe what you can do is, let's pretend that instead of our light source coming directly from above, perhaps it's sunset, and so the light source is coming from over here. So you're going to want to put a little bit of shading around the bumps like this. So there's going to be, it's going to be lit this side and darker on this side. So let's put a little bit of shading like that. And again, so always to the left as we're looking at it, because our light source is over on the right hand side. And this is just lots of little teeny tiny lines building up that shading. And then I'm going to taper it away down here, because if the light source is here, it's going to be lighting up a little bit of this under here. But there's a bump here that it's not lighting up. Maybe just a little tiny one there. And then perhaps another little bit over here. You can just build that up. How about if you want to have a go at painting some clouds? Now this is actually one of my dad's old sketchbooks. He was a very, quite reasonably famous on the Isle of Wight watercolour artist. And this is one of his paintings. And you can see here he's got some clouds in the sky. And if I hold it up to you perhaps a little closer, perhaps you can see that. He's actually, the clouds are the white part of the paper, and he's managed to make it look like clouds by letting the paper do the work, and that this part here is just a brush with some blue paint, some blue watercolour paint that he's just very lightly gone over the paper with. So it just goes to show you that a lot of the time clouds are about what you leave out rather than what you paint in. Let's find ourselves a fresh bit of paper. Okay, now then. I think what we'll do is we will use a pencil this time, because it's always quite a good idea to, when you're doing painting, just to draw very, very lightly what you might expect to end up with. So let's imagine, I don't know if you can see that very well, let's hold that up a bit better. Can you see that? Probably not. Okay, now I've done a very light drawing there of a cloud. I've got two different brushes here. I've got a fairly thin one there, and then this one is, I think it's probably about a 16 if you're interested in the sizes, but it's a big brush and it's actually my favourite brush to use, so don't be frightened of using big brushes. So let's get some water on the go, and then I've got here my watercolour palette, which incidentally I have fairly recently cleaned out. It hasn't been cleaned for probably a couple of decades, so it had a jolly good spring clean this year. And I'm going to mix up in this one here. There's some blue already, it's quite a dark blue, so let's use that, because that's a pretty good colour to be using. And also next door I've got a little bit of brown, I'm going to use that as well in a minute. So remember what I said about how the underneath part of the cloud is going to be darker. And this is all about just getting, dib-dabbing onto the paper and letting the paper do some of the work for you. I'm going to go in with a little bit of that brown now that you can use. Yellow ochre is quite a good colour to use in clouds. This. Now some clean water, and that is just wetting the rest of the cloud in places, not all over, because remember we're going to let the white of the paper do some of the work for us. And then I've gone back and I found some of this very dark blue, and I'm just going to spot a little bit of that around. Wash my brush out. And the way I like to work with watercolour is to put the colour onto the paper and then go back with clean water, just drop it onto the colour I've just put there and see what happens. It's a bit of an experiment really. I'm now going to pick up a bit of pink. Pinky purple. So what does pinky purple mean when it's on clouds? I think it means sunset, doesn't it? Let's just dab a little bit. You can be quite sparing with this. Just a little bit. Then I'm going to dry my brush a bit and pick up a little bit of that water, because if you put too much water, and this isn't proper watercolour paper actually, it's very heavy cartridge paper, but sometimes what happens is that the paper buckles and then you get these valleys where the water and the pigment sit, and that's not necessarily what you want. So you can pick up a bit of that water and pigment with a dry-ish brush, not a dry brush but a drier brush, or you can also get a bit of cotton wool or a cotton wool pad or a bit of kitchen paper and dab it. Actually I'm going to move a little bit of that pigment around as well, that pink, because it's a bit not quite where I want it to be. Okay, now what do we think? I'm going to use my skinnier brush and I'm going to add a little bit of detail with some of that darker blue mixed with a bit of that brown. Now can you see how that has gone from being brown to quite a sort of dark bluey grey, because I've mixed some of that blue in with that. So let's see what happens with that. Again, it's I'm working wet in wet, so it has a bit of a life of its own. And I'm not going to go all the way across the bottom, because a cloud is, depending on how it's formed, it's going to be picking up that light differently. This bit over here is quite dry now, so I'm not going to use too much over there because I don't want it to sit, I want it to bleed into each other. And I don't want it to just sit as its own entity, like, there I am. I don't mind actually this bit here. It's got quite a sharp edge to it. I don't mind that, quite like that, and the same here. Gives it a little bit of character, but you don't want that all over the cloud. And again, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this water because that is one of the valleys, and we don't want it to just stay there and dry like that. So up here, this is on one of the where the paper's buckled. This is an upper bit. So that bit there is going to dry quite nicely because it's got, although there's like a puddle of water and pigment there, it's spread out quite nicely. So I'm going to leave that. Okay, I'm going to leave this to dry. But what I would say is if you are painting something like this, then you would want to take into account what your sky is going to look like behind it, and you'd probably want to do the sky first. But because we are doing clouds, I thought I'd leave the sky out. But what you want to do is think about what is furthest away from you and do that first. So the sky, and then paint, the next thing would be the furthest away cloud, and then maybe a nearer cloud. And then if you've got something in front of it like a bird or an aeroplane, you'd have that, you'd paint that last. So think about it in layers of things that are furthest away to nearest to you. Remember to give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe in the corner so that YouTube know that I run a decent channel. Really does help get videos in front of people. And tell me in the comments, what is the best thing you have ever drawn? What is the thing you're most proud of? Next week I'll be looking at how to find an illustrator for your book. Can't be that hard, surely. I'm off to join the circus to learn how to juggle horses. I'll see you next time. Nanu nanu!